There are secrets buried beneath our feet, in every town and every city. Secrets which most people will just pass by. And the older the city and the bigger it is, the more secrets there will be. 3 of the oldest cities in Europe, Rome, Paris, London, they have so many secrets, and of course, some of them have been found.
This is Past Force.
In the 1970s and 1980s, journalist for the New Statesman, Duncan Campbell, was the terror of the British intelligence services, and he wasn't even 30 years old by this point. But already he'd uncovered the existence of GCHQ, and by 1980 he was reckoning that in the event of nuclear war or major catastrophe and crisis, then the government would be summarily executing people who were unwilling to work, gassing dissenters, and reintroducing the pillory. Oh, and forced labour as well. Don't forget the forced labour, because, you know, Margaret Thatcher, forced labour, it's not out of the realms of possibility, is it? Well, I say Margaret Thatcher, actually this goes back to 1976, so it was more likely to be James Callaghan or Harold Wilson who introduced this, which is kind of scary when you think about it. Speaking of Margaret Thatcher, her government reckoned that because he worked for the New Statesman, Campbell lacked credibility. They thought he wasn't a serious threat. But they thought that he might become one. So much so that when the BBC wanted to make a panorama programme about the security services, they were worried that Campbell had some involvement in this and that it might give him credibility, and they even looked into possibly censoring or even banning this programme. Which leads me to one of the articles which Campbell wrote. A Christmas party for moles. Campbell made an amazing, remarkable discovery. A network of secret tunnels beneath the streets of London, connecting major landmarks such as St Paul's and Trafalgar Square, and government buildings like Downing Street, the Foreign Office, and other places. Even Buckingham Palace was a part of this network. It was truly awe-inspiring what he found. And the most astonishing part was that he was able to just walk right in. If there were ever to be a revolution, or an uprising, or a major attack, or... I'm filming this before we know the results of the Conservative leadership elections, so let's say, for instance, and dear God I hope this hasn't happened, that Boris Johnson once again becomes Prime Minister of Great Britain, and there is a major uprising, a major revolt, and the gates of Downing Street are stormed by the mob. This is how government officials, including the Prime Minister, would escape. These tunnels are an emergency lifeline for government officials, an emergency secret communications network. And Campbell found it, and Campbell walked right in there with his bike and apparently a Christmas tree. The tunnels dated back to the 50s and 60s, to the Cold War, possibly even before then. They come from a time when fear and paranoia and the potential the nuclear attack was extremely high, extremely likely. They were, when they were built, important, necessary even, to keep the country safe, to keep the country running should the worst happen. Even though, according to Campbell, we would have ended up with an authoritarian state, they would have still enabled the country to keep running in the event of nuclear attack. And in 1980, that was still likely. It was still the height of the Cold War. So it's kind of amazing to think that this major lifeline, this major important network, that he could just stroll right on in there and walk around unimpeded.
History! It's a thing of the past! It's a thing of the past.
Thank you very much for watching this little video. As ever, you can find sources and links to books and more information in the description box down below, including a link to Campbell's original article, A Christmas Party for Moles. Don't forget as well, you can check out the Past Force website for more stuff, and if there are any secrets beneath your city, let me know down in the comments below, and I may make this into a bit of a series. Catch you later.